everyone, Arlene here. Welcome back to my Country Craft Corner. How y'all doing today? I hope that this little video finds all of you doing well and traversing through your days with no pain and no worries and with only positive thoughts about what's to come. I hope, anyway. No, that's a lot to ask. But anyway, I'm here with you today to make my burlap wreath. Still waiting on my lights. Chris found me some fairy lights, actually. By the time I came in from my chat yesterday, he had found and ordered up some fairy lights for me off of Amazon. So they are on their way and should be here tomorrow, which would be Tuesday. This is Monday. So I thought in the meantime that I would start working on my burlap wreath. So I'm excited to get started. As I'm going through things, I will let you know what I'm using, and I will have a supply list, a complete supply list down in the description of this video. So let's get started. Let's turn around. I'm going to turn my camera around, and we're going to start with making one of those big fancy bows. I'll be right back. Okie dokie, here I am with my mat, my glasses, my rotary cutter, and a water, sorry about that, and all of my different ribbons that I've chosen to use for this wreath. And you know how they say the best laid plans, might always not work? I don't know whether they say that or not, but that's what I'm saying. Because I was going to use tons and tons of ribbon, like 6 different ribbons, and I made a funky bow and I recorded the whole thing, and I don't like how it looks with all of the different ribbons. So I decided I'm going to make it with just 3 ribbons and 3 loops from each type of ribbon. So, I've changed my mind. So that's 1. 2, and 3. Of that, and then 3. Pipe cleaner. All right, we're going to start with the swirl. First thing we're going to do is we're going to dovetail the ends, or chevron all the ends. I'm not going to make the same mistake I made the other day in my lantern centerpiece. So you just pile them all up. The way I do it is I fold them lengthwise, and I go to the end. I know most go to the fold. I just have always done this. 30 plus years of doing it this way. It's a hard habit to break, so I do what works. Okay, there are those 3. Let's do a fleur-de-lis. This goes to show you too that you really need to be willing to switch lanes kind of midstream. I'm usually pretty good at picturing how things go together, but because this type of bow is new to me and I haven't made but one other, I was not happy with how that one looked with all the different textures and colors. So we're going to do it like this, And I'm going to start, I'm going to do one of each type. And as you'll see, we'll have 3 loops of each ribbon when we're done. All right, so let's start with this one, and we're going to measure out 10 inches. And you'll see how I make this bow. I'm going to have 2 10-inch tails on it. And then the span in the middle will make a 5-inch loop. So the way you do that is you take it out to 1 inch, come up here to 10 inches, pick it up, pinch it together, make a 5-inch loop, pinch it together, and then twist so that you bring the right side up to the top. And then for the next one, to be on top, just go to the Fleur-de-lis. Go to 10 inches and turn it the opposite direction. At least that's the way I like to do it. Make a 5-inch loop, pinch it together, and twist it again to bring the right side up to the top. And then we take the plaid, 10 inches, pinch it together, a 5-inch loop, pinch it, there we go. Now start the process all over again. Start with the swirly ribbon, tail down this way, make a 5-inch loop, almost getting to the point where I don't have to measure. So you can kind of just eyeball it with the other loops you've made. And I do need to measure out 10 inches though. Twist. Inches, loop, and twist. All right, now the last 3. Oops, to do the other way, sorry. And yes, my hand is cramping, holding on to all of this. Most definitely so. Whew. One more, thank goodness. We go. Shaking out my hand a little bit. Pipe cleaner, wrap it around, and use your hand you're holding the bow with for resistance, and really pull it tight, and then twist that pipe cleaner as tight as you can. Whew. And then we can just start to pull the loops up and around and start fiddling around with it. I like this one much better already, you guys. Yes, yes, yes. Much, 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 much better. Now, I am going to wait until I get it onto the wreath to do too much more flipping and flopping around with it. So now I'm going to move my camera around to that side, and we're going to start making the burlap wreath. So I'll be right back. Okie dokie, I'm back, and as always, I'm using a 16-inch work wreath. Work wreath meaning that it just has the chenille ties already attached. And as those of you who have been with me for a while know, I create my wreaths this way. A lot of people do them the other way around, and I think their reasoning is because it brings everything forward. But I use so many accent pieces that I find it easier to do it this way because I can nestle my accent pieces in. So that's just the way I do it. And I also had to add my own chenille tie here because this one, actually, I got this after Christmas. And I obviously didn't see when I bought it that it was missing one. So, all right, I'm gonna start out. I make my wreaths in a looping fashion, and I use a bolt of burlap that is 18 inches by 15 feet. And I start by unraveling it and letting it drop to the floor. Then I just take the end of it and gather it together. I'm going to go ahead and start with this wonky one here. Leave a little bit of tuft out at the end so that you can tuck it between the rings and nestle it down between the chenille ties and give it a good twist. And then we move on to the next one. I make my loops anywhere from 10 to 12 inches long. I've never measured them before, and I normally don't, but I will for this purpose. This is about 12-inch loop, between 11 and 12 inches. And I will eyeball it, moving around the rest of the wreath. And go to the next chenille tie. I always start on the outer ring. Gather it together. Back it up and nestle it down. Try to keep your burlap, kind of don't twist your burlap around as you go. Try to keep it right side up, if you will. There's really not a right side up, but try to keep the same side up. All right, I'm going to speed up a little bit here as I work my way around, and I'll be back when I get over here. I'll show you how we transition over to the inner ring. Be right back. To my last available chenille tie that does not already have burlap in it. And I'm going to make one more loop, and I'm going to hook it in right here to where I started. So one more loop, and as you can see, I have managed not to twist my burlap as I've been working my way around. And I just nestle it right on top. Usually I do, but this time I think I am going to open it up because I'm going to be coming back through with more burlap. So I'm actually going to open this one up and nestle it down in there. There we go. All right. So there we go. Made it all the way around. So now let's transition over to the inner ring. So you just start making a loop just like you were going to go to the next chenille tie on the outer ring. But we're going to transition right over, like this would be your next outer ring chenille tie, but as you can see in here, we're going to go right there, which would be the next natural chenille tie if it was on the outer ring. And we're going to work our way around the inner ring, and I will be right back in just a second. And here I am at the very end. I'm at the end of my burlap too, as you can see. So let's see if I can get this snug down in to this last chenille tie. I think I might have made one loop on the front side of this a little bit big, but that's okay. I don't want to have to go get another roll of burlap. There we go. That's fine. And as you'll see, you'll never see that in the end. Trust me. All right. So I'll take some time to kind of fluff it up, but not too much right at this point, because I've got a lot more to add on to this thing. Okay, so next up, I want to put 2 rows of this on it. And this is 5.5 inches by 15 feet. And I also have more of this if I need, because I might need to go up and over this burlap that I just did a little bit more. So I actually might run out of this. Got the same action, dump it on the floor, start on the outer ring, leave yourself a little bit of a tuck so you can tuck it back behind, snug it down in, and I only want to do one twist because I'm also going to, on the outer ring anyway, because I'm also going to put a pipberry garland around the outer ring too. All right, so I'm going to make my way around, and I'm not going to come back until I've gone all the way around twice and have this done. So I'm going to speed up and I'll be back. All right, and I've come right back around to where I started, and I'm going to snug one more loop right down in here. There we go. And I'm going to cut it off and tuck that right back behind. There we go. That's looking pretty good. All right, now let's think about how I want to put this pipberry garland on. I think I want to put it on so that it's going to nestle down kind of right between the two. But I think I want to hook it to the, or tie it in to the outer rings chenille ties. So let's see how that goes. Just tying it in with the stem of the pip berries. And just going to work my way right around the outer edge, or the outer ring. And I think it's going to tell us right where we're going to put the bow, isn't it? We'll see how far I get here. Yep. I would say the bow is going to go right there. Alrighty. That's Sophie, who has half of her body in the bathroom and half of her body in the hallway. I don't know whether I can lift my camera up to show you that. Can you see her over there? Not quite sure what she's trying to do. But there we go. So far, so good. So let me grab the bow. Let's get it put on. I can always take time to mess with these pip berries a little bit more once I get everything on. Here's our bow. So I want that there, and I think I want the cross about like that. I did have this sign too, but I think that's going to be too much. I don't know. Actually, might be all right. I might tie the cross on with the pip berries though, instead of a chenille tie. There's this one down here. Wasn't going to put the cross on, but kind of went on there really quickly. All right, so I think I will put that on there. I think that's going to look okay. What do you think? I think so. All right. I need to plug in my hot glue gun because I need to, well, maybe not. Let me see here. I think I can just tie it on with this twist tie. If only it were a little longer. There is a will, there is a way. And I have a will, and I'm going to make a way. There we go. All right, now let's get this bow tied on. I think it's just going to pretty much, all righty. Well, there are three main components to this wreath. Look at that. But it's getting there. Liking it. All right. Actually, I'd rather this be right about straight on. All right, now I have these feathers, and I have some fleur-de-lis. I have some butterflies, and I have these flowers. So let's see. Oops, come back here, flower. Let me get my flippers out here. Let's see. And I'm telling you, I'm going to glue all of these things on, you guys. Let me get my hot glue gun plugged in. First thing, I want to make a tough of my ribbon here. Let me make them 12 inches, one of each here. I'm only going to do one, I think, over there on that other side of the cross. You can see the creative juices flowing, can't you, right? As I'm doing this. So I really did not have, I kind of had a clue as to what I wanted to do, but you really never know until you start creating and until it starts coming together, you know? And let's see. I don't want to cover the cross, but I do want to add a little something to it over here. All right. Fleur-de-lis, let's see. Three, two going this direction and two coming down that direction. Or I just want these two on the bottom, kind of like that. Yeah, I think that's what I do want. And then these black butterflies, maybe up here. So my feathers. Can't forget my feathers. I want more flowers. This is the time when I sometimes need to put it up on the easel and take a look at it. You know, sometimes I'm not sure exactly. I'll be able to read the sign. Something like that. And then one more. I don't want to cover up the cross too much. Here we go. I think, my friends, that will just about do it. I just need to glue everything down. Yep. Cut this down a little bit. Once I get everything dry, then I can really fluff up that bow. But I think I'm going to take some time to glue all this down, and then I'll get it up on my easel, and I'll come back with some final words. I know I got a little quiet there at the end, which is nothing unusual, but I can't help it. When I get really going and I can start to see it in my mind's eye, I gotta get it together while I'm thinking about it. So I'm gonna glue, and then I'll be back. Hey everyone, I'm back with the finished product. I glued everything down, and wow, I am really happy with it. I know I always say that, but I kind of surprise myself sometimes with how things turn out. It's not exactly how I thought it would be, but it's pretty close, and I'm really happy with it. Very, 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 very happy with it. I will take you some close-up pictures and put them here at the end. I can move it up a little further for you. Let me see if I can pick it up. Very, very, very happy with how it worked out. So that's it for the wreath. Now I have to wait until my lights come, and then I can do the lantern, the lantern decor that sits up on my desk over there. So I have to wait for my lights though. So Chris seems to think that it looks a little bit like New Orleans style. I'm like, yeah, I can see that with the feathers. Add a little purple in, it really would, wouldn't it? But I really like just using the black and the khaki. I think it worked out beautifully. The only pop of cream are the Fleur-de-lis, little ceramic Fleur-de-lis, or resin actually, and that's it. And as I said, I'll get you a supply list in the description of this video. Welcome to all of my new subscribers, by the way. I appreciate your subscription. I am getting close to 2,700 subscribers. Never in a million years that I think I'd get to 2, much less 2,700, honestly. So I really, really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate every comment and every good thought. So anyway, I'm gonna go sit down. I'm gonna take some pictures, then I'm gonna go sit down and start editing, and we'll get this video up soon for you guys. So I will just say, until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.